Hello everyone, back again with a quick video on another way to save money if you're going to build some scale models. If you go to yard sales or flea markets, you can often pick up built kits that somebody has put together. You can pick these up dirt cheap, so I think I paid a quarter for this one here, so 25 cents. And all the parts were there. I mean, it was glued together, and some of it was glued together with a whole bottle of glue, but usually they come apart really easily, and you end up with a kit that you can put together yourself. So I stripped this one here. It had multiple layers of brushed on paint, and it came off pretty good, so I'll be able to finish this and turn this into a fairly nice kit. I always keep my old boxes from my old kits so that I have somewhere to put the parts and pieces from these models that I strip. And what parts I don't use, or what kits are too damaged or well glued together, I end up with a nice parts collection of, engine components and whatever for whatever I want to build, as well as body panels and stuff like that. So everything that I have in here is all body panels and engine blocks, and so it's a good way to end up with a good selection of parts. This one here is another one. So this one here I paid a quarter for. Again, and it's built all right. I mean, somebody took their time and built this one fairly good. But again, it's not what I'd be looking for or whatever. So to strip this, it's quite easy. All you really need is your Olfa knife and your hands, and you literally just start pulling it apart. But you pull it apart gently, so you find loose parts, and wherever it's loose, go in and score it with your blade. And usually the glue's brittle, so it'll all just come apart just like that, right? The wheels, they're usually a little bit more difficult to take off, so you end up breaking those trying to get them off. But all the body panels like this is usually pretty dry and will usually just pop off. There's the bumper coming off, light assembly. Right, so you can see where they've actually used a lot of glue down in there, so that might be a little bit difficult. And I would guess that this one's probably not that old, where it's not just falling all apart. Usually when you get them and they've been built for quite a while, the parts will literally just fall off of it. So there's the lights off. Apparently they use some kind of putty or something, because that's not even hard, whatever that is. So you pick away at it, and you just keep tearing pieces off of it until you end up with the kit stripped. I know these little side pieces here come off. They've got a lot of glue in that puppy. That one there came off fairly easily. And this one here is hanging on for dear life. I'm under the glue there now, I can feel it. So usually once you score these, the panels will pop off fairly easily. This one's being a little bit stubborn. Like I say, I would guess that this one was probably not built that long ago, and that's why the glue is still fairly strong at holding it together. So you get right into it, just like opening up a clam shell. We'll tear the body off. There's your body. Sometimes these are tough to get off because people just dump glue inside here, and the fur that's in it. She's been around for a while. There's a shock. Another shock. Yeah, so like I said, you can actually see the glue oozing out of it there. So sometimes this part here is a little bit more difficult to break apart. And sometimes you may not have to break it apart. You can rebuild it without breaking that out of there. Seats usually come out really easily. Part of the engine components. Now, I mean, you're not going to have instructions how to put this back together again. So maybe if you want to take some pictures as you're tearing it apart, just to remind yourself how to put it back together again. When you get into these little parts here, you're going to have to get in with your knife. And what I find sometimes it's easier to do is just lop this off flat and then just glue it back on flat, as opposed to trying to get that that little tab out from inside the hole that's in the steering column. This one has an actual exhaust system glued on it, so you can go in and just get underneath it with your knife. A little bit of prying like that, and get it off of there, so that's completely free. These I find sometimes will often break as well, just due to the fact of how much glue people are putting on stuff. And anyway, you get the idea, and I can literally end up with a brand new kit to build. Sometimes it's just as fun tearing them apart as it is building them. There's manifold. Take off this heater hose. Again, this person liked their glue, that's for sure. And you'll get them from time to time. And like I said, maybe I tear this apart and I end up with a lot of broken pieces that I can't really use to put back together again. But I also end up with a lot of pieces that I can use on other builds that I might end up doing. So, you know, it's never a waste of time, because you end up with a lot of parts and pieces that you can use. The older kits are the better kits, because like I mentioned, the glue is usually dried on them, and once the glue dries, it's so brittle they literally just fall apart. So anyway, this is what you end up with after you're finished stripping it apart. You've got yourself a kit that you can put back together however you want to put it back together again. A little bit of oven cleaner will take the decals right off it. Any of the glue that's on there, you'll have to actually scrape that down with your blade, and then sand it, and you might have to epoxy it if it's damaged the body, or putty it, or whatever you want to use. Like I say, remember to tape up your windscreens if you can't get them out. If you can get them out, then that's good too. But just be careful not to break those, because once you break those, they're a little bit hard to replace. And like I said, I think I'm going to go with building probably an Interceptor highway patrol vehicle with this one here. It's going to be a lot of scratch building. There's going to be the computer that's inside. I'll probably have to make some sort of lighting and all that kind of stuff with a light bar, or unless I'm going to make it a slick or a ghost car that doesn't have any markings, but it's got all the computer stuff with strobe lights inside the headboard and stuff like that. But anyway, I'll see. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it until I start building. Right now, she's off to primer. One more tip too. Here's a good tip. So styrene, you guys that buy styrene, these things come in the mail. They're literally, you know, come get credit from us or whatever cards. If you don't get them and your parents get them, just ask them to start saving them for you, or you save them yourself. And they're great for using them as either mixing boards when you're doing your dry brushing or any kind of brushing, or if you want to actually cut them out and make putty, little putty knives, which is what I've done in the past. And you can also use them as actual styrene, building hood scoops or whatever you want. But again, free, great to use, and hopefully you guys can get your hands on some. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoy. Go pick yourself up some cheap yard sale 25-cent models. Tear them apart. Have fun. See you next time.